The year was 2487. Captain Mira Chen stood at the viewing window of the human ship Endeavour, watching the giant space station grow larger. It looked like a silver star floating in the middle of dark space. Ships from all over the galaxy buzzed around it, shining like little fireflies. This was Harmony Nexus, the meeting place for the most important peace talks in history. Mira took a deep breath. First time stepping onto a galactic station. Her second-in-command, Joel Martez, joked behind her. She smiled. First time humans have been invited, she said. We need to make a good impression. Humans had only recently been noticed by the Galactic Union. For centuries, Earth had been isolated, too busy solving its own problems to travel far. Now, they were ready to join the larger galaxy. But Mira knew many alien species still feared humans. Old stories told of wars, anger, and destruction. Mira had one mission: prove that humans could be peaceful. The shuttle carrying the human delegation docked with the station. Mira adjusted her dark uniform. It was simple, clean, and formal, meant to show respect. Behind her, the other human diplomats stood tall, serious, and silent. Remember, Mira said, turning to her team. We are here to listen first, speak second. We are here to build trust. The shuttle door opened with a soft hiss. Bright lights flooded in. Waiting outside were dozens of alien delegates, tall ones with shimmering skin, small ones with many eyes, and others whose shapes Mira couldn't even describe. They all turned to stare at the humans. Mira stepped forward, leading her team. She extended her hand in a firm handshake, a human greeting of peace. But the alien closest to her, a thin being covered in soft fur, recoiled and made a frightened sound. Mira froze. Joel whispered, Maybe they don't like handshakes. Mira quickly lowered her hand and gave a polite nod instead. The humans behind her followed, bowing slightly. The aliens whispered among themselves. Mira couldn't understand all the languages, but she could guess the meaning. Fear, confusion. Stay calm, Mira said quietly to her team. An official led them into the grand hall. It was enormous, with high ceilings and soft blue lighting. Delegates from hundreds of worlds sat in floating chairs, forming a great circle. In the center was a single speaking platform. This was it. This was where history would be made. Mira's heart pounded in her chest. She wanted to smile, but she remembered that showing too many teeth might be seen as a threat. She kept her expression calm, her steps steady. As the humans moved into the hall, the alien delegates watched with wide eyes. Some leaned away, a few whispered nervously. Mira sensed the heavy tension in the air, like a rope pulled too tight. We need to fix this, Joel murmured under his breath. Mira nodded, but for now they had to move carefully. Every step, every word would matter. As they took their seats at the edge of the circle, the quiet in the hall grew even deeper. The peace meeting was about to begin. The silence in the grand hall was heavy. Captain Mira Chen sat straight in her chair, feeling hundreds of eyes on her. Some were large and glowing, others tiny and blinking. No matter their size, all eyes were filled with the same thing: fear. The head of the Galactic Council, a tall creature with bright silver skin named Chairperson Valari, floated to the center platform. Valari raised a hand with long, thin fingers. Welcome, delegates. Valari's voice echoed softly through the hall. Today we are honored to greet a new species, the humans of Earth. Mira stood when she heard her cue. She gave a respectful bow. Behind her the human team rose together, moving in careful unity. There was a rustle among the alien crowd. Some delegates leaned in to get a better look. Others shifted away, their bodies tense. Mira took a step forward to greet the council. She kept her hands by her sides, remembering the earlier mistake at the docking bay. No handshakes. She cleared her throat and said in a calm, clear voice, Greetings, friends. We come in peace, and we hope to build lasting friendships among the stars. As soon as she spoke, she noticed the reaction. Some aliens flinched. A few even whispered urgently to each other. Joel leaned close and whispered, Maybe our voices sound too loud to them. Mira kept smiling politely, even though inside she felt a growing knot of worry. After her short speech, the humans sat back down. Chairperson Valari continued introducing the next species, but Mira could see the room was unsettled. Delegates kept sneaking glances at the humans. Some moved their chairs farther away. Mira's stomach sank. Suddenly she caught sight of a figure moving among the delegates. Ambassador Zorvac. He was tall and broad, his skin covered in thick green scales. His sharp eyes flickered toward the humans with clear distrust. Zorvac leaned close to a group of smaller delegates and spoke in low tones. Mira couldn't hear the words, but the effect was instant. The delegates' faces turned worried. Some even looked angry. Joel noticed too. "That's not good," he muttered. Mira nodded. She had studied Zorvac before coming here. He was a powerful voice in the Galactic Union and had always warned that humans were too dangerous to join. He believed the old stories about Earth's wars and violence. He didn't trust humans, and he wanted others to feel the same. As the meeting went on, Mira felt the distance growing. When she smiled at a neighboring delegate, they looked away. When she tried to make eye contact, they seemed frightened. "We're making it worse just by being here," Joel said under his breath. Still, Mira clenched her fists in her lap. Out of sight. She had worked so hard to prepare for this meeting. She had studied alien customs. She had practiced greetings. And still something was going wrong. Chairperson Valari finally called a break. The delegates began to leave their seats, moving toward smaller private rooms to discuss matters among themselves. Mira turned to her team. "We need to fix this," she said firmly. "But how?" Joel asked. "They already think we're scary." Mira thought for a moment. "Maybe we show them another side of us. Something less formal. Something friendly." Joel shrugged. "Anything's better than sitting here while they decide to throw us out." Mira stood up, gathering her courage. "Let's move carefully. Let's start small, one conversation at a time." She walked toward a nearby group of delegates, forcing herself to stay calm. She had no idea how hard it would be to bridge the gap between fear and friendship, but she knew she had to try. Captain Mira Chen approached the group of delegates, slowly. They were a mix of different species, tall, short, round, and thin. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few shimmered like glass. Mira offered a small, careful nod, hoping to seem friendly and non-threatening. The delegates stared at her in silence. One of them, a thin creature with 3 long arms, stepped backward. Another one hissed quietly under their breath. Before Mira could say anything, the group quickly scattered, walking away in different directions. Joel came up beside her. "Well, that went great," he said, trying to sound light. But his face was serious. Mira sighed. "They're afraid of us. We need to find out why." As they stood there, Mira noticed Ambassador Zorvac speaking with a larger group across the hall. His voice was low but forceful. Mira focused, trying to hear. "Humans are violent," Zorvac was saying. "They destroy, they conquer, they pretend to seek peace, but their history is full of war." Several delegates nodded, looking uneasy. "One mistake," Zorvac continued, "and they will bring chaos to the galaxy." Mira felt anger rise in her chest, but she pushed it down. Getting angry would only prove Zorvac right. Joel whispered, "If he keeps talking like that, we're finished." Mira knew he was right. Fear spread faster than truth. If Zorvac convinced the delegates, the humans would be voted out, maybe even banned from future talks forever. She had to act, but carefully. Mira gathered her team in a quiet corner. "We need a new plan," she said. "What do we do?" asked Sarah, one of the younger diplomats. "We start by learning," Mira said. "We listen, we show respect, we find a way to explain who we really are, without looking like a threat." Joel nodded slowly. No handshakes, no loud voices, no sudden moves. Mira allowed herself a small smile. "Exactly. And no big speeches, not yet. We talk one-on-one. We build trust, one conversation at a time." The team agreed and split up, each member moving carefully among the groups of delegates. Mira walked toward a small gathering of peaceful-looking beings with soft blue skin and bright yellow eyes. As she approached, she kept her hands open and visible, her movements slow and gentle. One of the blue-skinned beings looked at her with wide eyes. "You are from Earth?" it asked in a high, musical voice. "Yes," Mira said simply. "We come to learn and to share friendship." The being hesitated, then nodded slightly. "We have heard many stories of Earth, stories of war." Mira bowed her head. "Some of those stories are true, but we have changed. We want peace now. We believe in working together." The being blinked its large eyes. "Many are afraid," it said. "I understand," Mira replied. "Fear is natural, but trust must start somewhere." The being studied her for a moment longer, then gave a small, cautious smile. It was only a tiny step, but it was a step. Across the hall, Mira saw Ambassador Zorvac watching her with cold eyes. He wasn't finished yet. He would keep pushing fear into the hearts of the other delegates. Mira straightened her back. She would not let fear win. Not today. Captain Mirachen sat quietly, thinking hard. The meeting was not going well. Fear hung in the air like a thick cloud. Every time Mira tried to speak to a group, they pulled away. Even when she spoke softly and moved slowly, it wasn't enough. The humans needed a new plan, and fast. "We should give a speech," said Joel. "Explain everything clearly, all at once." Mira hesitated. A speech could help, or it could make things even worse if the aliens misunderstood. Again, but they were running out of time. The council would soon vote on whether to accept humans into the Union. "We'll try," Mira said finally. "But it must be short and simple. No big words, no fancy promises, just honesty." The team agreed. Chairperson Villari allowed Mira to speak at the next session. Mira walked to the center platform. She took a breath and began. "Honorable delegates," she said, her voice calm and steady. "I am Captain Mira Chen, of Earth. We come not to conquer, but to learn. Not to rule, but to join. We believe in peace. We believe in working together." She paused, letting her words sink in. "Our past had wars," she admitted. "But we have grown. We have changed. We are ready to be part of something greater." Mira looked around the hall, hoping to see understanding. But she saw fear still shining in many eyes. Whispers spread like wildfire across the room. One delegate leaned toward another and muttered something. Mira caught only a few words. "They admit their violent past. They changed. But can we trust them?" Her heart sank. She stepped down from the platform and returned to her seat, keeping her face calm. Inside, she felt crushed. Joel leaned over. "You did good," he said softly. "It wasn't enough," Mira replied. The break was called. Delegates rushed into private meetings, avoiding the humans even more than before. Mira sat with her team in a small lounge area. "We're too different," Sarah said sadly. "They see us through the stories they've heard, not through what we are." Mira stayed quiet for a moment. Then a new idea sparked in her mind. "We need to show them something real," she said. "Not words, actions." Joel looked confused. "Like what?" "Something human," Mira said. "Something that shows our heart, not our strength." Joel scratched his head. "You mean like singing?" Mira smiled for the first time that day. "Maybe not singing, but something simple, something they can understand." She thought of celebrations back on Earth, how people came together to eat, to laugh, to share stories. Maybe if the aliens could see the human side, the kind side, they would understand. "We'll invite them," Mira said. "A small gathering. No speeches, no formal greetings. Just sharing food, music, and simple games." Joel grinned. "A party." "Not a party," Mira said, laughing a little. "A peace offering." It was risky. If it failed, it could be the final mistake. But it was their best chance. Mira stood up. "Let's prepare." Across the hall, Ambassador Zorvac watched them closely. His sharp eyes narrowed. He would not give up easily, but neither would Mira. Captain Mirachen and her team worked quickly. They set up a small open area near the main hall. They placed tables with simple food from Earth, fruits, breads, and sweets. Nothing spicy, Nothing strange, just safe, welcoming food. They also set up a few easy games. Things like stacking blocks and tossing small rings. Games that didn't need words. Joel found a small music player and filled the air with soft, peaceful songs, gentle piano and quiet strings. When everything was ready, Mira sent out a message: humans invite all delegates to join us, to eat, to talk, and to share peace. At first, no one came. Mira and her team stood quietly, waiting. Minutes passed. Mira could feel the doubt growing in her chest. Maybe it was a bad idea, Sura whispered. Mira shook her head. We give them time. Then a small movement caught her eye. One delegate, a tiny round creature covered in soft green fuzz, rolled carefully into the room. It blinked up at Mira with big, curious eyes. Mira knelt down, keeping herself small and non-threatening. Welcome, she said warmly. The little creature sniffed the air and gave a small squeak of approval. It picked up a piece of fruit and nibbled carefully. Its eyes lit up in delight. Mira smiled. It's called an apple. The creature squeaked again and rolled back toward the hall. Moments later, a few more delegates entered, slowly, nervously. Some stayed near the doors. Others came closer to the tables. One tall alien with shimmering blue skin tried the block-stacking game. He built a wobbly tower and laughed with a soft musical sound when it tumbled down. Joel helped an alien with 6 arms toss rings onto small posts, cheering when they made a perfect shot. The room, once silent and cold, started to warm. Delegates chatted in low voices. Some tried the food. Some watched the games. Slowly, smiles and laughter spread. Mira moved among them, answering questions, sharing simple stories about Earth. She told them about gardens, about families, about festivals where people of all kinds danced and sang together. She made sure to keep her words easy and her gestures slow. One delegate, a small being with large golden eyes, asked, "Are all humans like you?" Mira smiled. "Many are. We are not perfect, but we try to be kind. We try to learn." The golden-eyed being nodded thoughtfully. In one corner, even Ambassador Zorvac stood watching. His arms were crossed, and his face was hard to read. He was not joining the gathering, but he was not stopping it either. Mira knew he was still looking for proof that humans were dangerous, but what he saw now was very different. She hoped it would be enough. As the gathering went on, more and more delegates joined. Some played games. Some told their own stories about their home worlds. Some even asked Mira questions about Earth's history, wanting to understand the full truth, not just the old frightening tales. The ice between humans and aliens was beginning to melt. For the first time since arriving at Harmony Nexus, Mira felt hope, but she knew the real test was still ahead. The final vote was coming, and not everyone was convinced yet. The gathering continued late into the station's evening hours. Captain Mira Chen watched the delegates relax. Many were now smiling, some even laughing. It was a small miracle. Food, games, and simple kindness had done what formal speeches could not. Still, Mira knew it wasn't enough yet. Tomorrow, the council would vote. Humanity's future in the galaxy rested on that decision. As Mira cleaned up empty plates and games, she noticed a small figure approach. The fuzzy green creature who had first tasted the apple. It made a soft squeak to get her attention. Mira knelt down again. "Hello," she said warmly. The creature spoke in clear words this time. "I am Pila of the Yilni people. I like the apple." Mira smiled. "I'm glad, Pila. It's called fruit. It grows on trees back on Earth." Pila's bright eyes sparkled. "Humans are kind, I will tell others." Mira felt a surge of hope. "Thank you, Pila," she said, bowing slightly. True to Pila's word. The next morning, whispers moved through the grand hall. But these whispers were different. Delegates spoke not of fear, but of the gathering, of laughter, of sharing. Even the chairperson Valari seemed pleased. Mira stood tall as the council prepared for the final vote. She glanced around the hall. Some faces were still unsure. Some remained cold, but others, many others now showed curiosity, and even respect. Still, Mira knew not everyone had changed. At the center platform, Ambassador Zorvok rose to speak. His deep voice filled the hall. "Delegates of the Union," he began, "we must not forget history. Humans have the power to destroy. Their past is full of violence. We must think carefully before opening our doors to them." There were murmurs of agreement, but fewer than before. Mira listened patiently. She knew Zorvok was doing what he believed was right. He truly feared for his people's safety. But she also knew fear should not make decisions for the future. When Zorvok finished, the chairperson called for final statements. Mira stepped forward. She spoke simply. "Delegates," she said, her voice steady. "Humans are not perfect. We have made mistakes. We have hurt each other and our world, but we have also learned. We have changed." Stray. She paused, looking around the hall. "We do not come to rule or conquer. We come to share, to learn and to grow. With all of you." Mira bowed her head deeply. The hall was silent. The chairperson raised a hand. "The vote will now begin." Stray. One by one, each delegate floated to a small platform to cast their decision. Yes or no. Mira held her breath. She watched as the golden-eyed being she had spoken to pressed the yes mark. She watched Pila roll up proudly and press yes too, making a soft beep with the machine. She saw others, many others, choose yes. Not everyone did. Some still voted no, including Zorvok. But when the final count appeared on the great screen above the hall, the answer was clear. Humans were accepted into the Galactic Union. Stray. Mira let out a slow breath. She hadn't realized she was holding. Her team hugged each other quietly, careful not to scare anyone with too much excitement. Across the hall, Ambassador Zorvok met Mira's eyes. His face was hard to read. After a long moment, he gave a slow, small nod. Not of friendship yet, but of respect. Mira nodded back. Today something had changed. A small step for humans, a small step for the galaxy. But it was only the beginning. The grand hall buzzed with quiet excitement. The humans had been accepted. It still didn't feel real to Captain Mira Chen. She stood tall with her team, trying to take it all in. Around her, delegates from dozens of worlds nodded, smiled, and even waved in small, polite gestures. Chairperson Valari floated to the center of the hall once again. "Today," Valari said, "we welcome a new people into our union, the humans of Earth." The delegates tapped their chairs gently, a sound that meant applause in the Galactic Union. It wasn't loud, but it was full of meaning. Mira bowed deeply to show her thanks. Joel leaned close and whispered, "We did it." Mira smiled. "No, everyone did it," she whispered back. The humans weren't alone in this success. The kindness of beings like Pilla, the curiosity of the golden-eyed delegates, and even the cautious respect of Zorvok had all played a part. Fear had not won. Friendship had. After the ceremony, Mira and her team were invited to a welcome feast. The hall transformed into a colorful place filled with foods, lights, and music from hundreds of worlds. Mira tried a soft glowing fruit from a planet called Valora. Joel made a face after tasting something slimy, but laughed anyway. Laughter echoed across the room, real, joyful, and free. Pilla rolled up to Mira again, carrying a small glowing flower. "For you," Pilla said shyly. Mira accepted it with a warm smile. "Thank you, Pilla. I will treasure it." Nearby, Ambassador Zorvok watched. After a long pause, he approached Mira. "I still have doubts," Zorvok said quietly. "I understand," Mira replied. "Trust takes time." Zorvok studied her for a moment, then gave a slow, serious nod. "We will watch. We will learn. Together." Mira smiled. It wasn't friendship yet, but it was a beginning. Later that night, as Mira looked out the station's wide windows at the endless stars, she felt a deep sense of hope. Earth was no longer alone. Humanity had taken its first real step into the galaxy, not with power, but with patience, laughter, and kindness. She knew there would still be challenges ahead. Misunderstandings would happen. Mistakes would be made. But now humans had friends to help them, and they would help others in return. Captain Mira Chen closed her eyes and whispered to the stars, "We're home."